What's up, guys? We have a unexpected trade coming from the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Columbus deals Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Seattle Kraken for two 2023 draft picks, one of which is a third round pick. The other one is a fourth round pick. As you guys can see here, Seattle has already posted it, and they already wrote as um, a title right here that they project him to play in the top six already, which I mean, if I were them, of course I would play him in the top six. So let's read a little bit up in terms of like this deal. So in a strong move to boost Kraken's scoring punch and a signal win more games intent for the coming season, Ron Francis acquired Columbus Blue Jackets leading scorer Oliver Bjorkstrand Friday in a trade that sent two 2023 draft picks to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Uh, the draft picks were for next July, a third round choice acquired from Calgary in the Kale Youngkrok trade, and a fourth round pick acquired from Winnipeg in Mason Appleton. So essentially, they trade away two draft picks that don't even have anything to do with their organization that they got in previous trades. But the big question is here, why such a small return for a leading scorer, the Columbus's best player? Well, today, Patrick Laine was indeed signed to a contract. I'm just gonna switch up the screens here. There you go. So as you can see right here, are looking at Columbus's projected cap space. Well, right now, it's not looking good for them. So obviously, this deal had to be made to move their contract. As you can see right here, Patrick Laine, he signs a 4-year deal at $8.7 million per season. They added also Johnny Gaudreau at the free agency. So essentially, they're rolling with those two guys to be significant parts and a huge impact for the team moving forward. In terms of what Seattle Kraken get in terms of a contract for Oliver Bjorkstrand, I'll be showing you guys in a second here. Just give me a second. So they have a lot more cap space. The projected cap space is $9 million around. Um, and Oliver Bjorkstrand, have they added him yet to? No, they have yet to add him. Let's see here. Okay. They haven't added him yet in terms of. Huh. Surprised they haven't updated it yet. Give me a second here. We'll be looking at his contract in a second. Okay, so Bjorkstrand, on the other hand, he has 4 more years left. So he's getting paid until 2025-2026 season, and he's getting paid $5.4 million. So obviously, a big cap hit, but he is only 27 years old. He could play the left wing and a right wing. And in terms of his stats, he's been phenomenal for the Columbus Blue Jackets. A very underwhelming team for the last couple of seasons, ever since Panarin and the likes of Matt Duchene and others who followed in his footsteps. Um, well, that being also Cam Atkinson as well. Bjorkstrand really looked like the bona fide star in Columbus. Last year in 80 games, he had 57 points. The year before that, he had 44 points in 56 games. The year before that, he had 36 points in 49 games, 36 and 77, 40 and 82, 13 and 26, and 8 and 12 for a total of 382 games where he had 111 goals, 123 assists for a total of 234 points. Uh, you know, some of the seasons, as you can tell, that I've mentioned right now, nothing significant in terms of, scoring a lot of points. Obviously, his window was around 40 to 50 points as a player. But the thing is that he, you know, helped Columbus, score a lot of goals, and he was a significant player. At one point, they even called him a secret weapon on Columbus. So Oliver Bjorkstrand, is a play driving two-way scorer who's one of those players who's a good at pretty much everything, an excellent forechecker, and especially good at creating shots. Um, Honestly, in terms of the value, I think obviously Seattle wins this deal 100%. They take advantage of Columbus's situation in terms of trying to create cap space, which it worked essentially. You get a top player in Bjorkstrand. You've added Burakovsky during the free agency as well. It's looking good for Seattle. They're finally utilizing that cap space and trying to create a good offensive structure. Um, in terms of how the lineup could look like, we're going to be looking at that in a second with the inclusion of um, Bjorkstrand. Okay, so right now you have Burakovsky, Berniers, Eberly as the top line. I see Eberly moving down to the second line, and I would assume that on that top line, you have Bjorkstrand playing. On the second line, you have Jaden Schwartz, Alexander Wenberg, Jared McCann. If Shane Wright is indeed ready to play this season, I do believe that he could potentially see second line minutes. If not, I see Yanni Gord coming in and playing second line, and Shane Wright would be playing third. On the third line, you have Brandon Tanev, where I see him staying. Like I was saying before, Yanni Gord as a third line center for the moment. Carson Kuhlman, and on the fourth line you have Jonas Danskoy, Morgan Geeky, and John Hayden. So obviously, in terms of offense, uh, they're not the most offensive team. So adding a guy like Bjorkstrand really allows them to get a lot more points in that domain. Their defense, obviously, with Dunn, Larson, Olosiak, Schultz, Susi, and Borgen, not the greatest either. Not anything flashy, nothing to celebrate about, but at least Seattle is trending upwards, in my opinion, and they're finally using their cap space as a weapon to um, take players basically essentially from teams that need to shed cap space. They still have $9 million remaining, so that would be enough to maybe make a splash and go acquire a center if Shane Wright is not ready. A guy that I'm thinking about is Nazem Kadri, maybe. We do know that Kadri's still awaiting Colorado to shed some cap space because that's his preference to re-sign. Obviously, you wouldn't want to leave Makar, McKinnon, Ranton, and Landeskog, especially a team that just won a Stanley Cup that helped you win a Stanley Cup, and he was a huge player on that team as well. And in terms of another RFA, because we were talking about Line signing a contract, Dubois accepts a 1 year deal at $6 million. That was the qualifying offer given to Pierre-Luc Dubois. So, I mean, a team could still trade for him. He still has his preference of going to Montreal. But the thing is that he's gonna have to maybe wait a little bit longer. Maybe that's what they got him under contract, so they could get a lot more in terms of value. But I mean, I think whether if he was not signed and he did get traded to a team, let's say Montreal, for example, his preference, a long-term contract would have been negotiated and agreed to. So that's what happened in terms of that. And another signing, this is a UFA signing. You have Will Butcher, who is signed a 1 year deal with the Dallas Stars. So a lot of news coming in right now. It seems like the Liney signing was the domino effect to propel all of this to happen. And I would like to hear your thoughts on this, Columbus fans and Seattle fans. This is, in my opinion, one of the bigger moves Seattle has made since they mentioned the league. So that would be uh, fantastic. So I would think that they're trending upwards. There's a lot more to look forward to. Do I still think Seattle, uh, is a bottom feeder team? Yes, I don't think they've really moved the needle in terms of improving and showing the rest of the league and their fan base that they're ready to compete yet. I think that they're going to have to wait maybe another 2 or 3 years in order to compete for a playoff spot or to even be a playoff contender for a Stanley Cup. But Columbus, they had to make this move to shed some cap, And I think that it was a good move in terms of trying to retain Liney services, which they did. But ultimately, they lose a good player in Oliver Bjorkstrand. And guys, don't forget to like our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well. We are nearing 1,000 subs. It would be awesome to hit 1,000 subs before our 1 year anniversary, which is August 15. And we would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to share this to any Columbus Blue Jackets fan and Seattle fan, or anyone that may be interested in an NHL breakdown. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.